What's up, guys? It's Giovanni here. Welcome back to another video. If this is your first time, I'm very excited to have you here because today we're going to break down exactly how you can build muscle from home through calisthenics. Maybe you're someone that's just starting, maybe you don't have a lot of time, you don't want to go to the gym, or maybe you just want to learn more about calisthenics and bodyweight training. Well, today we're going to break that down. When I first started exercising, it was in high school because of football practice. And then in college, I finally learned what calisthenics was, but I wish I learned about it sooner because now I'm not just stronger, but I'm also bigger. Now, one thing I do want to make clear is this isn't just going to be some quick dopamine hit, super exciting video. No, this video is going to be very, very informative, and this video is going to level you up. So if you're someone that really wants to learn and you have discipline, then I highly recommend you go grab a piece of paper and a pencil and you go into a quiet space and get ready to take notes because this is going to be very, very informative. Let's get to it.
What's up, guys? This is how I got jacked in 90 days with calisthenics while working a full-time job, no gym needed. So here's a quick backstory about me. I wasn't always this shredded. I lifted weights for football in high school and throughout college, but I wasted a lot of time partying and chasing things that didn't really move my life forward. After college, I started pursuing my goal of becoming a firefighter, but eventually I realized I can impact thousands of people online while building something of my own. At some point, I knew I wanted more control, more discipline, more ownership over my body and my life. And that's when everything changed. I realized instead of actually saving people's lives in person, I can reach and save thousands of people through social media just by me sharing and being authentic and showing home workouts. So this is what changed. I prioritized calisthenics. I mostly do calisthenics. Let's just say I do 80 to 85% calisthenics and 15 to maybe 20% weightlifting at the end of my workouts if I have time. As you can see right here, I am holding the back lever, and I would rather learn skills like this than spend my time building more muscle mass, right? But you can do both at the same time. So I focused on efficiency instead of hours in the gym. I mastered a method that gets results without equipment or wasted time. So who is this video for? If you are someone working a full-time job and you want to get lean and shredded without living in the gym, if you are insecure about going to the gym, but you still want to get results from home, if you are someone who wants to lose stubborn belly fat while building lean muscle, and if you are tired of doing random workouts and pull-ups and want a proven system, then this video is for you. Now, who is this video not for? Right? Clearly not this guy sitting on the couch eating fast food, watching TV. So if you're someone who just wants an overnight fix, this is not for you. If you're someone who isn't willing to put in the work, if you're comfortable staying the same, and if you make excuses like, I don't have time, but you spend hours scrolling or wasting your time, then this video is not for you. Many of you guys scroll on your phone, right? Watch videos. Maybe you're watching TV, watching Netflix, playing video games. Maybe you're going out a lot. Who knows what you're doing? But if you're someone that's saying you don't have time to work out and you choose to do those hedonistic activities, then this is not for you. You need to have balance, and you especially need to take care of your body. So here's the truth. Most people believe you need a gym, right? Heavy weights or endless cardio to get lean. However, that's a lie, okay? What you really need is structure, progression, and accountability. You don't need a gym membership or fancy machines to get shredded. You don't need endless cardio, or crash diets aren't the answer. They just burn you out, not the fat. If you don't know what crash diets are, it's basically when you're just really trying to eat minimal food and you're basically starving yourself. That leads to binge eating and actually more water retention and your body holding on to your fat instead of just letting it go. The real key is having a proven system with structure, progression, and accountability. But don't worry, I'm not going to let you be confused anymore. There's no such thing as bad genetics or not having enough time. You just need a smarter approach. If you guys were to track every 30 minutes out of your day, you would realize all the wasted time and all the time you could have used spent on working out and maybe even cooking some more healthy food. And if you want that person to be you, I'll show you exactly how to build lean muscle and lose fat with efficient workouts you can do from home. Eat foods you actually enjoy while still getting shredded, and how to transform your body in 90 days or less without the gym and without guessing. The zero to shred method is the exact system I built through my own trial and error, backed by years of training and in-depth research into fat loss, muscle growth, and lifestyle habits that are stopping most men from getting shredded. And I've decided to break it down all for you. First, before we move forward, as you can see, this is me just lifting weights, right? I'm literally, I'm holding a bottle of champagne. Okay, I have muscle on me, nothing too crazy. But as you can see over here, this is me doing mostly right 80 to 85% calisthenics, barely lifting any weights. I'm way more shredded, way more strong. You can see way more definition. And I'm going to show you guys exactly how to do this yourself from home. In the next few minutes, I'll break down exactly how I went from an average build to a muscular physique and how my clients are doing the same from home. You too can use my zero to shred method to get shredded from home, boost energy naturally, and build 15 to 20 pounds of lean muscle while dropping fat without wasting hours in the gym. So this is the most important part. If you guys have not been taking notes, now's a great time. It's the zero to shred method. This three-phase method is not going to just transform your body, but it'll turn you into the strongest, leanest version of yourself from home. This is going to help you not just level up your physique, but also help you level up mentally as well. So first things first, we want to lock in your foundation, okay? Build habits, not hype. Master the basics. Simple but effective home workouts, dialed in protein targets, and a structure that fits your busy schedule. This is where you reset your identity. Next is accelerated shred. Fat loss meets performance. You'll add high intensity workouts, you'll shred fat and build visible muscle without spending hours in the gym. And last but not least is the elite physique. This is where you master your body and you master your mind. This is where you refine your body into a lean, powerful physique that projects confidence, control, and presence when you walk into the room. Now, let me walk you through how each phase is designed to burn fat, build muscle, and unlock elite control over your physique, all from home. First is locking in your foundation. We want to dial in your nutrition. So I'm going to touch on the points of the different type of people out there, right? We have people who are very skinny. We have people who are also overweight. And then we have people in between. Maybe you're really skinny and you also have a slight belly on you. This is what I call skinny fat. This is where you cannot really see your abs, but you're also very lean as well. So first things first, if you are someone who is trying to gain weight, you need to be in something called a calorie surplus. So if this is your calorie maintenance, meaning how many calories you need to eat to maintain your weight, you need to eat in a calorie surplus. So you should be eating 200 to 300 calories in a surplus, eating more calories than you burn. The reason why I only want you eating 200 to 300 calories is because I want you to lean bulk. I don't want you putting on a whole bunch of fat while you're building muscle. I only want you to put on muscle and very, very minimal fat. Now, if you just care about getting big as fast as possible and you don't really care about that extra fat gain, sure, go into a 500 calorie surplus, but just know as you're building muscle, you're also going to put on extra fat. So if you're okay with being a little pudgy, be my guest. But what I highly recommend is being in a 200 to 300 calorie surplus. Next, for the guys who are overweight or chubby, I want you guys to stay in a calorie deficit, okay? I want you guys in a aggressive deficit if you're overweight. So what this means is you guys should be in a calorie deficit of 500. I recommend starting off at 500. This is what most people go with, especially if they're new. However, I recommend starting off with a calorie deficit of 500 to 800 max. Okay. I would not push past the 800 calorie deficit unless you have someone coaching you or you truly know what you're doing. Because once you go into a super aggressive cut, that's when you start losing energy. That's when you start messing up your hormones and lowering your libido and really feeling a lot more fatigue and getting tired. So 500 to 800 calorie deficit is the perfect range. That's what I recommend. Now, for you guys who are skinny fat and you cannot see your abs, you're very lean in the arms, right? You want to build muscle and lose fat at the same time. This is what I call body recomposition. This is where you are going to lose fat and build muscle at the same time. So you also need to be in a calorie deficit, right? A slight one if you're lean, right? Skinny, but still have a belly. You should be in a deficit of 200 to 300. The reason why I want you in a deficit of 200 to 300 because that's a good enough deficit to where it's not too low so you can still lose fat, but you can also build muscle at the same time. Because if you go into a super deep deficit like the other guys who are overweight, it's going to be a lot harder to build muscle. But when you're in that light calorie deficit, only 200 to 300 calories, that's when you can truly put on size and also lose fat at the same time. It does take a little longer, but it's definitely worth it. I promise you. This is where you see guys staying at the same weight, but their physique is changing. So you guys are probably wondering, what is my calorie maintenance? So I want you guys to go to ChatGPT, some form of AI, and ask it this prompt. Say, hey, ChatGPT, I want you to ask me as many questions you need to know so that I can know what my calorie maintenance is. Once you get that calorie maintenance, then go back to the exact calorie surplus or deficit I told you guys to be in. Now, hitting your protein targets is very, very, very important. If you are not hitting your protein every single day, it is going to be extremely, extremely hard to build muscle. Now, the recommendation for protein is 0.7 grams to 1 gram per 1 pound of body weight. So, all that means is if you are someone who weighs 150, you should be eating 150 grams of protein. I would say do the zero point 0.7, but honestly, you should be eating 1 gram of protein per 1 pound of body weight. So, like I said, if you're 150, 150 grams of protein. If you're 200, 200 grams of protein, and so on. Now, if you are very, very obese, that's different. Then you can do the 0.7 grams because if you are around 350 pounds, you don't need 350 grams of protein. That's when you can use the zero point 0.7 range. One thing I want to make very clear is if you're not hitting your protein, you are not going to build muscle. Specifically for you guys who are in that aggressive cut. If you are in a 500 to 800 calorie deficit and you're not eating high protein, you're just going to lose fat and build muscle, which is the last thing you want to do. Because why would you strip off all that fat just to have nothing underneath to show? As you can see in the picture here, I put eggs and red meat, right? Steak for a reason. This is going to be very, very essential in building as much muscle as possible. Red meat, right? Ground beef, steak, and eggs is one of the best things you can eat to get jacked as fast as you possibly can and also boost your testosterone. Do not be afraid of cholesterol. There's healthy cholesterol HDL, which is going to be good for you. This isn't the type of cholesterol that gets in your arteries and gives you heart attacks. Don't worry about that. And if you guys are worried about it, just do your own research. But I'm telling you, no real need to eat chicken. You can if you want. There's more protein in it. But steak has the micronutrients, which is way more important for building muscle and boosting your testosterone, such as iron, zinc, creatine, boron. This is going to be very, very good for you. All I eat myself is honestly eggs, Greek yogurt, red meat, honey, raw dairy, and white rice. That's really about it. Avocados, maybe some fish like tuna and sardines. And that's really all my diet is, right? Of course, I probably eat a couple more things like minimal veggies, but for the most part, that's all I'm eating. That's really all you guys need. Now, you want to balance carbs and fats for energy plus recovery. So carbs are going to be very important because the carb is what is going to give you energy, right? The rice, the potatoes, the oatmeal, the fruit. This is all going to give you energy for the day. But the fats are very, very important for your hormones, such as boosting your testosterone, right? So you need to have a balanced diet. Next is you want to stay consistent because this is going to fuel faster fat loss and muscle definition. If you're not consistent, you are not going to get results. Now, I'm going to give you guys something so you can stay consistent later in this video. So if you're still watching, great. You guys are going to see a lot of progress if you are implementing everything that I'm talking about. Next is locking in training, right? Training 5 to 6 days per week with a set plan. Keyword, set plan, right? Not doing pull-ups in between playing the game or maybe in between you working from home or doing random push-ups. No, having a set plan. For example, having a workout split, targeting specific muscle groups. For calisthenics, what is great is the push, pull, legs split. That's one of the best splits you can possibly do. If you don't want to do that split, you can make your own, but this is very, very effective. And this is what I have used my entire life. The reason why I suggest doing push, pull, legs is because all calisthenic movements are based off that split. So for example, if you're training 6 days out the week, it's going to look like push, pull, legs, rest, push, pull, legs, rest, and just repeat and keep going in that split. So if you guys are confused what push, pull, legs is, just think about it like this. When you are pushing, you are using your chest, shoulder, and your tricep. When you are pulling, you are using your back, right? Your back and your bicep. And then legs is just all in one. That's why we do push, pull, legs. Every time you do dips, you are using the push muscles. Every time you're doing pull-ups, you are using your back and your bicep, which are the pull muscles. Hopefully that makes sense. So next, you guys are going to want to balance progressive overload plus high volume training. What is progressive overload? Making your workouts harder over time, not just doing the same reps every single time you work out. If you're someone that does 3 sets of 20 push-ups every time you work out, the next time you need to do 21 push-ups, and then the next workout 22 push-ups, and continue to push yourself and make your workouts harder over time so you can build muscle. Now, let's say you get to around 20 to 25 push-ups. You don't want to keep on doing more reps because there comes a point between building muscle and doing more reps, which is just endurance. So if you're someone that's just doing max push-ups, like 3 sets of 30 or 3 sets of 40, you're not building muscle anymore at that point. You're just getting stronger. And I'm not saying getting stronger is bad, right? That's amazing. But if you really want to put on size, you need to stay in between that 10 to 25 rep range, specifically for push-ups. So let's just say 3 sets of 25 gets easy. Start going slow on the way down, focusing on the eccentrics, such as going down for 3 seconds during a push-up, going down for 3 seconds during a dip, or even going down for 3 seconds doing a pull-up. This is going to make your workouts a lot harder, which is going to lead to you building more muscle. And eventually, of course, adding weight is going to get you jacked, right? Maybe adding 10 pounds during push-ups, adding 10 pounds when you're doing dips or pull-ups, or just getting a weight vest and putting that on while you're doing these workouts, especially when you're doing legs. So next is high volume training. All I mean by high volume training is just doing between, I'd say, 10 to 15 reps max. That's the rep range that you truly want to stay in, especially for building muscle. If you go a little over that, it's okay. Like I said, 20 to 25 for push-ups, that's fine. But if you guys can stay between 10 to 15, that's going to help you build the most muscle over time. Also, you want to push your sets close to failure for maximum results. Now, specifically in that rep range that I'm talking about, that 10 to 15 range, even 8 to 15 range. So if you're doing pull-ups, go for 8 to 15 pull-ups. Once that gets easy, then you can start going slow on the way down, right? Then you can start adding weight and so on. But let's just say you can do 3 sets of 15 pull-ups. Don't try to keep adding more reps to the pull-ups once you hit 15, unless you just want to get strong, which is fine. Start going slow on the way down and start adding weight. When I say failure for maximum results, I'm saying if you're someone that's only doing 10 push-ups, but you know for sure you can do 12 to 15, push yourself. Don't let your mind trick you into being weak, telling you that you can't go anymore. You are the one that can control yourself, right? Mental discipline, mental toughness, pushing yourself to the limit. A lot of people, they don't push themselves when they're working out. This is why they get mediocre results. So use these calisthenic progressions such as push-ups, pull-ups, dips, and skills, right? The skills such as front lever, handstands, planche, things like that. If you guys don't know what that is, no worries. We'll be getting into that a little bit later. But these skills are also going to help you build muscle and get that calisthenic build and get shredded and also burn fat simultaneously. So one thing I want to clear up is that there's a difference between skills like the handstands, the human flag, front lever, muscle ups, handstand push-ups. Those skills don't really build a whole bunch of muscle. They can, but they're mostly used for getting extremely strong and pushing past your limits. Now, like I said, they can build muscle over time, but the foundation such as push-ups, pull-ups, dips, right, body weight squats, Bulgarian split squats with your body weight, those are the workouts where you can really focus on hypertrophy to build muscle. Next, we are going to talk about accelerated shred. So, fat loss accelerators. We are going to be mixing high intensity interval training plus low intensity steady state cardio. We want to burn fat fast with circuits, sprints, and daily walking. What is high intensity interval training or HIIT, right? High intensity training. All high intensity training is going super hard, going high intensity for a shorter duration of time. I'd say between 15 to 20 minutes, maybe 20 minutes max. It's super short, but it's very, very effective for burning fat. One thing I want you guys to know is when you do high intensity training, there's something called the afterburn effect, where your body is going to continuously burn calories after the workout 24 to 48 hours later. It's not going to burn much, but it is going to be continuously burning calories over time. Now, here's the thing. The high intensity workouts are very, very taxing on your nervous system, just like calisthenic skills, like planche and front lever. So when you're doing high intensity training, you can't do the high intensity training every single day. If you're truly, truly pushing yourself and going all out, you can't do high intensity training every single day because it is going to fry your nervous system and also your recovery. So what I recommend is doing high intensity training 3 to 4 days out the week and never do it back to back. Always give your body at least one day of rest in between. This is going to help you guys get shredded very fast. Next is low intensity steady state cardio. That's just walking, right? Low intensity cardio. This cardio should be easy, just enough to where you can have a conversation with somebody while you're walking, or you should be able to talk on the phone while doing the workout. So, for example, walking, right, is a perfect example. Incline walking. This is going to be very, very effective for burning fat because with low intensity, steady state cardio, this is when your body is actually tapping into the fat storages. Therefore, it's going to burn more fat. Now, here's the thing. It takes longer. So you have to do these workouts for 45 to an hour or even longer, right? Walking for 10 to 15 minutes isn't going to do much unless you're doing 10 to 15 minutes throughout the day, and that equals an hour, right? The reason why I don't have jogging on here is because jogging is great. However, it's really not necessary unless you just like to go outside and jog and get your endurance up and just feel your heart beating. That's great. You guys can jog if you want to. But these two types of cardio are the most effective for burning fat. And I highly suggest just sticking to these two. And if you are going to jog, maybe do it once or twice a week. Or if you just like doing a daily jog, go ahead, be my guest. But what I showed you is very, very efficient for burning fat. Next, you guys are going to want to be prioritizing sleep 7 to 8 hours to speed recovery and fat loss. If you are not sleeping, you are not going to have a good recovery, and bad recovery means slower fat loss, slower muscle gain. You can do everything right. You can do everything right and still not build muscle and lose fat efficiently because your sleep is horrible. No 5 to 6 hours. You need at least 7. I promise you guys. Next is training with intent, mind muscle connection. If you guys do not know what mind muscle connection is, this is probably one of the most important things on this video is having your mind connect with that muscle that you're working with. When you're doing the push-up, you want to actually think about your chest contracting, right? A lot of people do their push-ups and they just rep it out. They're not really thinking, they're just doing the push-up. But you really want to think about your muscle contracting while you're doing the push-up. Really use your chest, really focus on that chest expanding during the eccentric. And when you push, contract your chest and squeeze it, okay? Even feel it in your triceps, right? Squeeze your triceps, squeeze your chest. When you're doing a pull-up, have mind muscle connection with your back and your biceps. When you're pulling chest to bar, really feel your back squeeze, really feel your biceps squeeze, and that's going to help you build a lot more muscle than just going through the motion and just doing the reps. Actually think about the muscle that you're working and think about it contracting and expanding on the eccentric. This is going to help you guys build a lot of muscle. The thing about doing calisthenics is it's a little bit harder to think about that mind muscle connection because you're using these compound movements for different muscle groups. So when you're someone that goes to the gym and let's say you're doing a bicep curl, you can think about your bicep contracting, right? You can think about your chest contracting doing bench. But when you're doing a push-up, it's harder to feel it in your chest, and some people just feel it in their arms and they're not really thinking while they're doing the workouts, especially if you're someone who's very new. So make sure you pay attention to this. Next is structured progressions. Every week builds on the last and results compound. Don't be the person that's doing 4 sets at 10 push-ups every single week, right? Increase it and make it harder. Basically, progressive overload. Make the workouts harder over time. If last week you did 3 sets of 8 pull-ups, next week or the next time you do that same muscle group, do 3 sets of 9, and 3 sets of 10, 3 sets of 12, and then maybe go slow on the way down the next time and just make it harder and harder every single time you do that workout. So here we have a shredded lifestyle, and my client Brady was a perfect example of this. As you can see, in just 4 weeks, Brady transformed his body while working 40 to 50-hour weeks while proving you don't need hours in the gym to see results. As you can see right here, this is Brady working out from home, spamming random push-ups throughout the day, doing random pull-ups. He didn't really have a program. He didn't really have a split, just doing random workouts, doing what he feels like it. But here's the thing, that doesn't work. But when you have a split and you know what you're doing and you're executing those workouts, lifting with intensity, this is when you can get results. He was able to achieve this in 1 month. As you can see on the left side, he didn't really have abs, slight fat covering them, looking a little deflated. Over here on the right, his abs are way more defined. You can see slight muscle definition in his body because what he was doing was he was being very, very consistent. He was doing the workouts with progressive overload, and this is what you can achieve in just 1 month if you are dedicated and if you lock in. Over here to the left is exactly what I had him doing. He was doing 10K steps daily, which is effortless fat burn outside the gym. He was also staying hydrated for better performance and faster recovery. You guys should be drinking at least 4 to 5 liters of water every single day. That's basically a gallon of water every single day. If you don't have a hydro, I highly suggest you get yourself one. Instead of drinking those tiny water bottles, it's much easier just to have a hydro next to you that you refill. So next is environment control. Remove junk food and prep easy meals. If you are someone that just has a whole bunch of cookies, Twinkies, brownies, muffins, sweets all around you and you can't control what you're eating, or you're someone that just grabs and eats while you're watching movies or whatever, clear your environment, because if you can't control what you're putting into your mouth, how are you supposed to build muscle or lose fat? Also, you want to prep easy meals, exactly what I talked about earlier. Meal prepping rice, having steak ready, or ground beef. This is going to be very, very easy. You could just eat those two things, and that's really all you need. You guys can also do Greek yogurt bowls with fruit, honey, dark chocolate, coconut, granola, frozen blueberries, and that's basically a healthy dessert right there. Prepping easy meals, doing oatmeal in the morning. This is going to make it super easy for you guys not just to build muscle, but also burn fat at the same time. So if you're someone that can't control the food that they're putting into their mouth, I highly suggest you remove your junk food. But at the same time, I don't want you eating like a rabbit either. Learn to have balance, track your calories so that way you can enjoy sweets, but also hit your macros for the day at the same time so you can build muscle. Next is consistency over perfection. Daily actions equals shredded results, as we can see here. Brady wasn't just focused on just doing the workouts, he was focused on doing them every single day, eating consistent every single day, walking every single day, tracking his macros every single day. Stop focusing on the big picture, the big goal, like the abs, the big chest, or whatever you guys want. Start focusing on the tiny actions that move you forward, the tiny goals, because those small goals start compounding over time and lead to that big goal at the end of the day. Next, we are going to go in the most important part, which is the last pillar, as we see right here, is the elite physique. We need to start optimizing you, elite level. This means pushing higher intensity plus skill based training, such as advanced calisthenics, handstand push ups, front levers, back levers, muscle ups, all the cool skills. This is to sculpt elite definition. Like I said earlier, these skills make you have the calisthenic build where you're looking extremely lean and defined. So you want to be doing higher intensity workouts, making them harder over time. And then not all of you are going to be able to start skill training, such as handstands or planche, because some of you may not have that strength yet, or maybe some of you can't even do push-ups or pull-ups. But eventually, once you get to the elite level, you will be able to do this. So here's the thing. Some guys you see are very skinny and they're really strong at the same time. You see them have all the skills down. They're able to do muscle ups, handstand push-ups, but they're super lean and tiny and really not that big, toned, but not that big. Why? It's because they only prioritize strength and skills. You want to be jacked and you want to be strong at the same time, right? You want to build muscle, but you also want to be strong and able to do those cool skills at the same time. That's what I believe is one of the best things you can do. You don't want to be just some skinny guy who can do the skills, right? Who cares? But if you're jacked, if you have muscle mass and you're doing these skills, that's way more impressive because it's harder to control your body weight. That's why I'm teaching you guys right now how to focus on hypertrophy and build muscle, but also learn skills at the same time. Now, here's the thing. If you guys want to learn skills such as handstands, muscle ups, handstand push ups, front lever planche, etc., you need to practice your skills first in the beginning of your workout and then focus on hypertrophy. So if you guys are doing pull-ups or push-ups, do your skills first, such as front lever planche handstands, then go into hypertrophy training through weighted dips, weighted pull-ups, or whatever your workout is. Or for even you guys out there who are lifting weights, skills first, then hypertrophy training. Next, we want to refine nutrition strategy. That means precise macros, aka tracking your macros, knowing how much food you're eating every single day. Refeeds. If you are someone that's in a cut and you've been in a cut for a long time, you are going to want to spend one day eating more food or even eating at your maintenance calories or maybe slightly in a surplus. This is just to help your body fill back out, because when you're in a cut, you can start looking flat and you don't want to look flat. That's why you focus on eating more carbs during the day you do the refeed, because that's going to help you have more glycogen, which is going to make you look more full. And last but not least is carb timing. Eating 1 to 2 hours before you work out. This is going to have you have way more energy and honestly a great pump while you're working out. And this is also going to help you stay lean while fueling performance. Next is having an elevated lifestyle and precision. Sleep. steps, having your environment locked in so you can maintain the shredded look effortlessly. And last but not least is sustaining peak results for life. I'm not just here to teach you how to get jacked in 90 days or in the next 6 months. I'm here to teach you how to maintain your physique for the rest of your life so that you guys can be happy in your physique in the long run and also be able to help people yourself through health and fitness. So, long-term strength. With calisthenics, you build long-term strength or functional strength, aka what I call true power. What I mean by this is the guys that go to the gym and they lift weights and lift super heavy, when they're older, they really don't have that strength anymore. Compared to calisthenics, the strength that you build through the handstands, the handstand push-ups, the muscle ups, even when you are an old man, you will still be able to do those skills because you're building what I call true strength. Those are the three right there that I want you guys to have: long-term strength, aesthetics, and confidence that never fades. We want to fine tune the body to achieve peak performance and aesthetics at the same time. This is what I'm trying to teach you guys. You want to build muscle and focus on hypertrophy training, but you also want to focus on the skills at the same time. That way, you guys aren't just jacked and strong, but you can do the skills as well, which is very, very impressive and fulfilling when you guys get into calisthenics. Next is the 5-4-5 method. This is more on the mindset side of things and the discipline side of things. This is what has helped me stay consistent and run my business every single day. And this is what has also helped my clients be successful in their lives. So I want you guys to write down 5 medium to long-term goals you're committed to achieving. For example, you guys can look at the examples that I put right here. I will reach 10,000 subscribers. I will be known for my wisdom and performance, and etc. Second, you want to outline a 4-step morning routine that primes you for daily execution. As you can see right here, I had 5 or even a 6-step morning routine, but you guys can do any of these, right? Make your bed, drink 32 ounces of water, journal, push-ups, meditation, cold shower, etc. Last but not least, you guys want to list 5 essential tasks you must accomplish every single day. No excuses. For example, for me, I put film a day in the life, edit my VSL, sales call, onboard new client, and so on. For you guys, this can be make sure you do your push day workout, make sure you hit your protein, right? Make sure you go to the store so you have enough food, or make sure you meal prep, or whatever your goals are. But something very, very important is you don't just want to write this down in your notes app. I highly, highly recommend getting a journal, because when you physically write it down in a journal, it's way better and way more fulfilling, and it's going to keep you consistent. One thing that's very important is doing the 5-4-5 method before you go to sleep at night. Writing down the 5 goals, the 4-step morning routine, and the 5 non-negotiable tasks that you are going to do the next day. If you write this down before you go to sleep, that is going to keep you accountable. And then you're going to bed and knowing what you are going to execute on the next day. This is how you get consistent. This is how you get real results. The zero to shred method is designed to maximize muscle control and aesthetics. So not only your body looks elite, but your confidence and energy is unmatched. My clients have proven how powerful the zero to shred method is for building strength and muscle with simple calisthenics, push-ups, pull-ups, dips, and staying lean and gaining the confidence that carries into every part of life. For example, you can see my client right here. This is Abdallah. Abdallah was able to lose 40 pounds in 6 months with me. This is my client, William. As you see, he's a little bloated over here. He wanted to get more shredded, and we were able to do a body recomposition. That way he was losing fat and building muscle at the same time. Going over to more of my clients, the zero to shred method works for everyone. Anybody can do this. It doesn't matter how tall you are, how short you are, what color you are. You could be green, blue, red. It does not it does not matter. All that matters is that you have discipline, you have integrity, and you're willing to put in the work. For example, more of my clients, this is my client Zachariah. He was able to put on 10 pounds in 3 months. This is my client Emmanuel. This is a 1-year transformation of only doing calisthenics. This is my client Colby. Colby was in college, partying, doing random push-ups and pull-ups from home. And in 12 weeks, he was able to lose fat and build muscle at the same time, looking a lot better. And this is my client, JC. As you can see right here, this was a 6-month transformation. We were able to put on 25 pounds in 6 months. Now that you guys understand how my method works, I have an offer for you. If you are low confidence because you're not seeing the progress, busy with work and life and have no time for the gym, tired of training hard and not looking the way you want, and are ready to finally get lean and muscular with simple workouts you can do from home, looking to lose fat and build muscle without wasted hours in the gym, without doing cardio or heavy machines, and prepare to step into the most ultimate version of yourself, strong, confident, and efficient. So that way, when you finally go to the beach, you can take off your shirt and feel proud of the work that you put in through your physique and ready to gain 10 to 25 pounds of lean muscle while torching body fat, all with 0 hours wasted in the gym. Then I highly recommend you book a call with me in the link in the bio. Then we can go over exactly what you have been doing and what you're trying to achieve and build you out a game plan that is going to guarantee that you get results. Because at the end of the day, I want to truly see you guys win and not lose or waste time trying to figure this out on your own and doing workouts that aren't really going to move the needle forward. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram at Giovanni_Fiderio. I hope this was helpful for you guys. I built this whole framework breaking down exactly how you guys can build the body that you want. If you guys were not taking notes, then I highly recommend you go back and take notes because this is going to help you finally get results. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.